So in this video, I want to discuss a very particular use case for, let's say, an hypothetical application that you're working on. And let's say your application basically processes videos, it extracts the text from them, it adds subtitles, it maybe converts them to different languages, it does text to video and so on, right? So one common thing that you'd notice is there is a lot of string manipulations here. So just keep that in mind while you're going through it. But what would be the first approach that would come to your mind? So let's say first of all we want to remove all the filler words. We have o and so on, whatever people tell in sentences. So we want to remove those filler words. So let's define a function first, right? So let's say const remove filler words equals to maybe we do text and then we do this. And I've pre-written the function before so that I don't embarrass myself trying to figure out this regex in the video. So and it might also save some time. So yeah, I've written this function. So what it would basically do is it would remove any uhs and ohs in the sentence, right? So here specifically I'm focusing on and let's start. Let's say we have this string const text equal to maybe whatever, right? Very cheesy, I know. Hello world. What is this word? World. Okay. Now the first thing that we can do is console.log. We do remove filler words text. Cool. Now if we run this, we get this. So it basically removed all the us in the sentence, right? So now the use case that we defined, right? So we might have like a lot of such functions. So let's say we have some function for removing this, we have some function for speaking. So let's say we have speak, you pass the text, then it maybe what to say, it speaks it out loud. It can be something like, let's say, return text plus spoke out loud or so on, right? So you can have this you can have 1,000 other functions here, but the problem is it's kind of hard to maintain because like you have to write them in a single file. This is very messy and you have to import them everywhere, which might not be something that you want since it's not very convenient. And you'll be using these a lot since the application is kind of based around strings only and a lot of string manipulations. So maybe you can do something better on this, right? So let's say you decided to do something where you don't want to import this function everywhere, you want them in a centralized place, and you don't want to worry about this anytime you like are in whatever code base or in whatever file, right? So let's say you decided to override, or let's say if there was a way to add this to the native string itself, we could do something like this which would work. So instead of this, we can just do this, let's say, and we are not importing anything. Let's say we want to make this work. So now how we'll go about that, right? So what we would do is we define an object called maybe text processing, and then inside the object we put these functions. You can put it globally somewhere, and then you have this, you have remove filler words, you don't need this, and you don't need this as well. And then you have speak, you remove that, you don't need this, you don't need any of it, right? So that's done. And the next thing that we have is we want to add this to the native string class or prototype in JavaScript, right? So what we can do is we can do object.assign. This is a way to do it. This is not the final way. You can do it in 1,000 other ways, but this is a way to do it. So let's say we have string dot prototype, and then we have text processing. Makes sense? Now let's try running this. Okay, I forgot the comma here. It's an object. Oh, it won't be text, it will be this, since this will be accessible when we like add the prototype to string. This will be the value of the string, and we don't need the parameters here now. So let's remove those as well. Yep, we get I love this, hello world, and so on. So we are able to access this without having any methods or anything defined as such directly. We are able to access it directly from the string base class of JavaScript. So we kind of added this there. But one thing that you might think of here is what happens to the default method that we have in JavaScript. Let's say we have this slice operation here, which extracts some substring from a given string. So if we, without anything here, what if we do this? Where did I write slice? Maybe it's not. Okay, so it slices some substring out of it based on these indexes. But what if we define slice here, since it's overriding the prototype? Let's see what happens. So inside slice, we let's say return overridden. Now what is going to happen is, if you try running this, you see overridden. So this is not a very fun use case, right? So this might end up breaking your application in several places. So slice is something that JavaScript provides by default. If you use it, you expect it to work the way you have been expecting it for your past projects or your past organizations or whatnot, right? So overriding native function is not a very good idea. If you do it, just make sure everyone on the team is on the same page, or like there is no disagreement or anything as such. Otherwise it will end up causing a havoc. So basically best advice, don't do it. But yeah, but then again, if you want to do it, then you can. So that's the point I'm trying to make. And we have slice overridden here. So how can we avoid this? So we can do something like set prototype off. This is related to something called prototype chaining. So we will discuss that later in the video. So I'm just setting a stage for that here. So if we do this, then we get the default function that slice provided. So it did not override the slice method that we had there, right? So yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of demonstrate here. So this doesn't override, object does and overrides. And why, we'll speak about this in the next series of videos. I have a lot of diagrams in mind as well. And yeah, so yeah, in this video we sort of went through our hypothetical application. We had these functions, we manipulated the base class of JavaScript string, and we made it accessible everywhere so that this serves our use case well, which you can also do if it's possible. But it's not, like I'd say again, it's not really a good idea to override the native classes or native objects or whatever you call it. Just make sure everyone is on the same page and everyone knows about whatever changes you're making there, right? So yeah, I think that should be it for this video. In next video we will see what happens inside this, how are these logged and stuff. And also another thing, you can also make it a class. Nothing wrong with that. Like as we discussed, you don't need the commas here. Then it's just abstraction layer over this, nothing more than that. But you just have to put prototype here, I think so. Let's see if that's the case. Yeah, that's the case. So if you change it to class, your object will be accessible inside the prototype. And if you don't change it to class, this is a prototype on its own. That's what. So you can do either of those. So yeah, I think that should be it for this video. If you like the video, share it with your friends. If you found it helpful, drop a comment. If you have any suggestions, feel free to give it. And yeah, see you folks. Bye.